Being a beginner in investing can be very difficult. You're faced with different questions like, when do I invest? How do I invest? How much do I need to start investing? And what should I invest in? If you're a beginner and you're facing these questions, that's only normal, and that's why this video is here for you. To become successful or wealthy, you need to invest. If it's so necessary, why is it then so difficult to get by? Well, worry no more, as I will be giving you 8 investing tips that would help you kickstart as a beginner. Make sure you stick around to the end to find out what number 1 is. Finally, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Broad-based investment. One of the first questions a beginning investor has is what to invest in. When there are seemingly unlimited options between individual companies, sector-specific funds, and broad market funds, how do you determine what to buy? While there are many options, it's best to start with something simple and easy to understand, such as the S&P 500 fund. Even those who have never invested in the stock market probably heard of the S&P 500. Owning a fund like this, which has around 500 productive companies, is nearly a risk-free method to invest because you're essentially buying into the stock market as a whole. Your returns and risk will be roughly average with this strategy. You may deviate a little from this by buying low volatility or high growth variants, which is also a good place to start. Buying and holding the S&P 500 is a simple and proven state whether you're investing $1,000 or $1 million. And it's an effective strategy that Warren Buffett recommends. Number 7. Don't be scared off by the media. The media is a profit-driven industry whose primary goal is to get more views, which is accomplished through frightening headlines and tense content. Expert investors are aware of this, but it might be alarming for new investors. As an investor, your goal is to increase the value of your money over time by concentrating on factors you can control, such as your time, risks, costs, and taxes. When headlines warn of the stock market's impending crash, try to focus on the long-term picture and make prudent judgments. Take a look at history, and you'll notice that the stock market has always bounced back after a downturn. Even if the stock market behaves like a roller coaster with numerous ups and downs, you won't be injured if you don't jump off. Regardless of what happens, try to keep to your investing plans. Those who remained calm during previous recessions have profited nicely, while those who sold everything took the biggest losses. Number 6. Your saving percentage is important. Poor market performance over some time can be discouraging to new investors. Many times in the past, stock market returns were less than acceptable for a short period. However, as a beginner, your job is to focus on the things you can control. Rather than focusing on the market performance, assess how much money you're saving, if you're saving regularly, or whether you could save more. For long-term investors, the biggest factors for success are staying invested and saving enough money. According to common rule, try saving at least 50% of your income, more if you started late or plan on early retirement. Even if the market performs poorly for a while, the market's long-term profitability should be considered. Number 5. Automate your savings. Setting up automatic contributions on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis is a simple method to keep you on track with your investment commitments. You are less tempted to spend money that is automatically deducted from your account or paycheck. Additionally, the fewer things you have to do, the less intimidating the process will be, and the more likely you will continue with it. Almost everyone who automates their investment will tell you that they hardly even know that the money is gone. Consider how much less likely you will be to invest and how much more uncomfortable it will be to transfer the funds every week manually. Most people will either forget to do it, postpone it to a later date that will never arrive, or keep it and spend it on something unnecessary. Number 4. Keep costs low. You do not influence how your investments perform, but you do have power over how much you pay. As a beginner or experienced investor, it's critical to consider the cost of each transaction. Typically, these fees are expressed as an expense ratio, which is the cost of owning and investing companies' funds. When comparing what these two companies charge for an identical fund, the S&P 500 ETF offered by Vanguard charges an expense ratio of 0.3%, while the SPDR charges 0.9% for the same investment. With the $1,000 investment, Vanguard will charge $300 per year, while SPDR will charge $900. That's a difference of $6,000 per year or $500 per month with a $1 million investment. Although this may not appear to be a significant sum, investors frequently underestimate the impact of fees on their portfolios. As your portfolio expands, the charge may even exceed your monthly payments. Number 3. Understand how much risk to take. The amount of risk you can take with your portfolio will largely be determined by how long you have until you retire. Taking more risk in exchange for bigger returns is usually worth it if you're 30 or 40 years away from retirement. You should also feel at ease with the risk and be aware of the potential drawbacks. Younger investors generally have a higher risk tolerance because they wouldn't be using that money for a longer period of time. The disadvantage of taking on extra risk is that the portfolio may underperform at some point. A portfolio that is more cautious and less risky will perform more consistently over time, but with lower long-term returns. Understand how the risk of your investment will relate to your overall returns, and not to mention how much you'll end up with in the long run. Number 2. Set investment goals. According to Lawrence J. Peter, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere else. Knowing your goals is one of the most critical components of an investment strategy. How much money do you need to retire? And when do you want to retire? What is the amount of money you will need to get there? Make a list of your short, medium, and long-term financial goals. A short-term goal might be saving up to get a car next year. A medium-term goal could be saving up for a down payment for a house or property in 3 to 5 years, while a long-term goal could be relating to your retirement. To figure out how much you'll need to reach your investment goals, use a compound interest calculator with inflation. Having measurable goals will allow you to track your progress and provide you with the drive to stay on track and figure out how to get there. Number 1. Start now. As a beginner investor, the most difficult part of investing is getting started. Too often investors are put off by the subject because they believe they don't understand it, or it isn't something they should be concerned about until later in life. They might also feel they don't have enough to begin, and it just isn't worth it yet. As soon as you get your income and expenses in order, you should start investing. Paying off high-interest debts before investing may be a smart idea, but the sooner you start, the better. Don't wait for the ideal moment to invest because it may never come. Time is your biggest advantage when investing because it gives your money more time to compound. Even if it seems like you barely have anything to begin with, a quick look at some simple examples of compound interest could show you just how powerful it can be. Focus on only those things you have control over, instead of what you can't, to avoid being emotional, and invest no matter how the market is performing. These tips will help you succeed not only as a beginner investor, but throughout your investing career. Leave a big thumbs up on this video if it's been helpful. And if you're new on our channel, subscribe and turn on your post notification. See you in the next video.